Today's gospel, coming from Mark, tells us about the time Jesus went into what is now Lebanon, Gentile territory, in which some Jews lived. A deaf man with a speech impediment begs Jesus to lay his hands on him to heal him. I wonder what this man was like. Was he like Helen Keller, who, finding herself in the same situation, was an angry, uncontrollable child until she learned that things had names and words had meanings? Was he a contemplative with an interior life? In any event, he lived in silence. Quiet is the absence of noise. Silence is the absence of speech. The absence of speech when words are possible. Silence is the choice not to speak. In silence, we discover that inner space is just as infinite, as exciting as outer space. In silence, we explore the depths of our personal existence. Thomas Merton, in his Seeds of Contemplation, wrote, "There should be at least a room or some corner where no one will find you and disturb you or notice you. You should be able to untether yourself from the world and set yourself free, losing all the time strings and strands of tension that bind you, by sight, by sound, by thought, to the presence of that other people. You will never find interior solitude unless you make some conscious effort to deliver yourself from the desires and the cares and the interests of the world. And yet remember, if you seek escape for its own sake and run away from the world only because it is, as it must be, intensely unpleasant, you will not find peace and you will not find solitude." It's my turn to speak now. Child is praising God in the only way he can right now. Solitude is the abyss opening up to the center of our souls. Solitude is the ability to be alone without being lonely. If we are temples of the Holy Spirit, as Jesus tells us, then there is in that silence where we find God. In this silence, God communicates with us about experiences too deep for words, as the Spirit speaks to our spirit, our own pure self. In that silence, we overcome our deafness and muteness, so we might proclaim the graciousness of God. We need to find that quiet space, that solitude. Unfortunately, right now, when you go into your car, it could be that place. But you have to turn on the radio. You go to your home, and there might be a quiet place, but you turn on the television. You go somewhere else, and it might be a quiet place, but you go on your phone. We just have too many distractions. I'm trying to write a piece now for the Bulletin, and it starts off by talking about an imaginary friend. Everyone has an imaginary friend when they're kids, but when they grow up, they get rid of the imaginary friend. They're on their own. Sometimes we think that Jesus is an imaginary friend. We have to really believe that he is present. He said he would be present here in the Eucharist. Unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man, you cannot have life in you. Or he would say, "I will not leave you orphans. I send you my Spirit to live and dwell with you." And we only find that out in quietude,